Podcast is proudly powered by Battle-Born Batteries. Let the power of lithium take you on your journeys across the outdoor world. Battle-Born Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battle-Born makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
What is up, everybody? Good evening to you all. My name is Justin Patrick, and as always with us tonight is David Best, co-host. Guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We got a pretty cool little show. We got directors Steve Owens and Daniel Davis of the Tennessee Bass Nation Club. They're going to be coming on tonight to discuss the upcoming championship on Lake Chickamauga. It's chick. It's big fish, man. It's going to be an exciting event. So we're going to hear all the details about it tonight. But man, David, there's a lot going on right now in the world of kayak fishing. We got our USA representatives over there fishing the Hobie Worlds. We're about to kick that off. I'm jealous. I've been seeing the photos and videos from Jordan and Christine, Ron, everybody over there, man.
So cool.
It is pretty looking. It's really cool looking. And there's a lot more over there than typical because for the past couple of years with COVID and the pandemic, nobody's been able to go. So Jay Wallen's over there too. So they're all over there and going to kick that off. And I'm sure they're going to kick some butt, man. Christine, she's got the muskie dialed in, and I think that's one of the fish that they're fishing for, if not the fish they're fishing for.
Is it muskie or is it northern pike or?
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe northern pike.
It's more a pike, but it's the same it's the same basic type of fish. So I mean, it's something she fishes for pretty regular, so it should be in her wheelhouse somewhat.
Right, and they just finished up the tournament on the Susquehanna. And did you see the results of that, or did you see how the guy was catching his fish?
I did not get a chance to see how he was catching them, but there's some pretty decent results. I was.
Yeah, I heard it was a little tough. It was tougher for the anglers this year versus years past. The water levels and stuff. But I was just trying to find the guy's name, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for not remembering it. But he won. I mean, he was throwing some other baits, but he was throwing a topwater. Little bug, a little spider-looking bait, one of those deals that you got in your store.
I actually have some of those sitting in the store.
Yeah. And he was wearing those smallmouth out on him, man. He was he had a YouTube video up that he was talking about it and just mentioning how they were shying away from the topwaters and even the wacky rig Senkos and stuff, but he would fire that thing out there and they were just crushing it. Yeah. So, but interesting piece is, man, you just don't see this in too many kayak tournaments, but they were basically out there waiting in the shallows. He had the kayak tethered to him, and that is a ruling that I completely forgot about in the Hobie BOS series. So interesting little thing to remember moving forward. But we
Right.
for the most part we don't really experience that in all the other tournaments. But yeah, so Wolf and Fox Rivers are coming up for the Hobie BOS, and then West Tennessee Bassjackers, as well as I'm sure most of the other clubs in the Tennessee Cast organization are kind of wrapping up their seasons
Right.
or winding it down. And we had our final event on the Lexington Lakes this past weekend, and they finalized their state team. So congrats to all those guys. I'm going to miss a couple people, but Patty Stewart, Ashley Ott, Mark Davis, Chuck Smith, and a few others, man, made the team. Ron Jr., Ron Butler Jr., a couple others. But congrats to them. That's going to be on Kentucky Lake, so that's going to be an interesting one to follow.
It'd be a grinder.
But hey, we wanted to say real quick thanks to our sponsors. We are powered by Battle-Born Batteries and presented by Primary Tackle, and we have a little quick Primary Tackle product of the week.
Hey, it's been hot outside. Night fishing is a big way to catch some good fish right now. I got a great little bait here from the original Billy Phillips. They're Go-Go Girl with the little flex arm on it, and with a black blade and a black skirt. Has a ton of thump, something that the fish can find, whether it's a new moon or a full moon. Come out and give one of these a try. It's a great little night fishing bait.
All right, so I want to say a big thanks to those our two sponsors for making this show happen. But let's, Dave, you got anything else to add, man, before we get these two gentlemen on and talk about this?
No, I mean, just a lot going on here at the store. It's getting cooler. Everybody's beginning to think about kayaks. They're beginning to walk back out the door pretty quick again. I sold another one today. I've sold 2 or 3 over the weekend. And so it's really beginning to start hitting that season again where folks are beginning to think about going and getting in the kayak, and but they begin to feel those a little bit cooler days. Personally, I'm looking forward to being in Wisconsin next week. It's only going to be in the 70s during the day and in the 50s and 60s in the morning. So I'm looking forward to that myself. So I'll be out next week for that event. So looking forward to the Hobie BOS next week.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point to mention. We will probably not have a show this upcoming Tuesday. I will be in Florida for my little family vacation. And of course, you'll be heading down that way. So we'll miss you guys, but let's get these two guys on and let's get to talking about this championship. Daniel Davis, Steve-O, what's up, guys? Man, thank you both for tuning in with us tonight. We got a lot to talk about, man, and you guys have. I just want to say y'all have done a phenomenal job this year. I know this is the 3rd year of the Tennessee Bass Nation, or is this the second year? Second. Well, you guys have had y'all done an amazing job. Started off in Del Hollow, and we got a little collage. I want to just kind of recap on the winners of this season so far, starting at Del Hollow back in December. So, we kicked it off down there. Let's see, actually. I'm sorry, it was already playing. Yeah, it was kind of playing towards the end there for some reason. But, yeah, Tom Kazmierski, he kicked it off. Winning the Del Hollow event. Steve, you want to talk about the other guys? Or do you remember?
Oh, you're talking about the other winners?
Here we go. Now it's playing. For some reason, it was playing halfway through. There we go. Dalton Hyatt at Douglas Lake. Yep. Yeah. Chris Walters at Kentucky Lake. Brad Golden at Center Hill. And then Tom down at Del Hollow. So, pretty awesome season, man. Thank you all for joining in tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. And I'll be honest, we love doing this, and we've gotten pretty good at it, and we appreciate all the thank yous that we get. But I can't say enough about Daniel coming on this year. He's always helped me with the TVKA stuff or just anything I needed in general as a tournament director. But him coming on like full time this year and actually moving furniture and doing heavy lifting and stuff is the reason that we were able to make it successful. And I think we averaged 60 something per tournament. And if he hadn't have done it, then I would have been threadbare and probably wouldn't be able to do it anymore, to be honest with you. So, and then all you guys, you all hyped it and shared it. I'm Justin, and I know David. If the anglers don't get excited about fishing it and advertise it for us, then it just it's just 20 something of us fishing for talking rights.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had
Yeah. I mean,
about 180 anglers, like unique anglers, that fished with us this season, and that was wild. And we had a lot of folks that actually returned. We had a handful that fished almost every event, and that was just everyone that came out there. They just had nothing but good things to say, and it was just every time we gave out raffle prizes or awarded checks, everybody was extremely happy. It just the whole season, it was just high energy, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's like Steve said. I mean, when you get a series hyped up and the anglers are excited about it, man, it really builds up that commitment from the anglers to come out to each event. I mean, I know this was for me one of the series that all the tournaments that I had on the schedule for the Tennessee Bass Nation, I was excited about every single one of them. So, I mean, from the start, I think it was really awesome that y'all started off at Del Hollow in December. I mean, that was a couple of weeks before Christmas, and you had, 100+ anglers show up to that. That just, that was great. And great timing too. Cause I mean, I think, there's a good lull, from the end of most people's seasons, probably around September, October, doesn't really have much to do. You hit December, it's good kind of way to get out there and relieve some stress in the holiday season, and just kind of get out, get one last tournament in before the end of the year. And then I mean, all the other venues as well, just excellent decisions. So, but let's talk a little bit about kind of you guys' thoughts on the season. You mentioned the participation, but as far as some things that you guys like that happened this year, and some things that you would like to see improve, moving forward, and into the further years. I know you guys have already put out some feelers on the Facebook page on some lakes that people would like to see on the schedule. But Dan, we'll kick it off to you, man. What's some things that you would like to see improve outside of participation, stuff like that, moving forward?
One of the biggest things, I guess, this season is going to be that we actually, me and Steve-O, met up and started talking about next season already. We're trying to get everything out a little bit earlier, because we had some of the bigger Tennessee clubs, we put out after the fact, and it kind of conflicted with some of their stuff, and that may have hurt in some situations. But I think next season it's going to be a lot more participation when we get the schedule out a little bit earlier. Other than that, I mean, the venues have been really, really good, and there's a lot of pluses to this season. There was some, I can't control the wind at some of the tournaments, but other than that, it was good stuff. But us getting stuff out a little bit earlier, that's probably the biggest improvement that we can make. That way anglers know what's coming. And, the other thing is we're going to hype. We did an Angler of the Year spot, the top 3 from every cast club, or top 3 Angler of the Year. We did roll those spots down, but I've been messaging folks all week, because we're towards the end of the cast seasons, and like, hey, you qualified, or, you're going to be able to fish it. I had no idea. And so that's something we got to work a little bit better on, is making sure some of the cast clubs, hype it up a little bit more. And, we're going to talk about it at state, and, it's a prize thing. Tennessee has some of the best anglers in the country. I mean, flat out. There's folks that fish this event that, have won thousands upon thousands of dollars. And, people like Justin Patrick and others that, killed a Hobie on Chick. Those are the folks that, you get to fish against. And I think we're at the perfect price point, that this is the perfect level, like for somebody that doesn't feel like they can fish a Hobie or anything, or even a KBF or some of those other series. I think it's a perfect price point. Folks are happy to fish it. The prizes are we had a ton of folks that got their money back just in prizes as far as at the raffle. And then, state championship, we're going to do it right again. You're going to get fed both days. I mean, there's a ton of pluses, and there's, some of that stuff we're not going to be able to improve on. But, I think next season it's going to be even more. It's going to be even bigger as far as like angler participation. And that's the only thing we can hope for is, because this was 100% about the anglers. I mean, that's why we did it. We felt like there was a need for it. And Steve-O just did a hell of a job at picking these lakes and, getting that side of it. He did the heavy lifting. That all I had to do was go out there and just talk a little bit, and judge a crap ton of fish.
He judged Georgia for me too most weekends.
Yeah. I screwed up,
Yeah.
man. I screwed up one. I judged. What was it?
Lanier or Hartwell won, or both of them.
I did. So it was Douglas. I think it was Douglas Lake or something. I judged his tournament. Both of them were spotted bass lakes. So there's 500 fish on his tournament and 500 fish on my tournament. And I did 2 days. And I told him, I said, man, if we ain't doing that again.
You have to get a little more organized.
Oh,
got him.
Got him. Yeah, I was panicking at check-in because I got all his stuff done. Luckily, he was in a different time zone, so that freed me up. But I was judging fish at check-in, asking folks to put up the banner and everything. But it was a fun season, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me and David, we got a little taste of the judging experience when we ran the St. Jude event.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had nowhere near 500 fish turned in, but just you and I were both kind of on the road. I was going to pick up some barbecue, and you were on the road out there. I mean, it's helps.
Circus.
It helped. Yeah, it's a circus, man. It helps kind of having a couple people there, jumping in to score this fish, score that fish, and the anglers are sitting there, they're waiting, let me ask this question. I don't know this, but does an angler, do they get the Tourney X approval that their fish has been judged and all that kind of stuff when the judge has actually looked at it and everything?
Yep.
It's supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
You'll get emails as you're going through to the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get notifications on my watch when I'm out there fishing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, man, I definitely think that you guys, I mean, my hat's off to you both. And this series, it like you mentioned, Dan, there's a lot of great anglers, and there's just a lot of anglers in general in the state of Tennessee, and you got other anglers that come from Georgia and Arkansas and other neighboring states are going to come in and participate. Because you can pay your Bass Nation dues and go and fish any state. So I mean, when we did this show at the beginning of the year, when you guys came on, we were talking about it. I was just, I mean, we said it then, and I still believe it, that an angler, and we're seeing it more and more, but, anglers can really make a living doing this if they wanted to. They can go around, they can fish the Bass Nations, the Hobies, the Bass Masters. If they want to commit to it, the opportunity's there. And I foresee, especially with you two guys at the helm, man, the Tennessee Bass Nation being one of the best and most participated, nation series, in the country. So I'm looking forward to the future. So question on the table, are we going to see a Pickwick in 2023?
I think I have to, actually, I'm going to me and my wife are going on a pretty lengthy, we're going on, I think we're going to be gone like 10 or 11 days starting this week. But, when I get back, my first call is to Miss Pippin on because like the problem with Pickwick is that it's so popular. They can, it's hard to get a booking date and chamber support unless it's something really big. But I think if we time it right, if we have an early spring, I think we could get 100. But we may end up having the state championship there. That's probably what she's going to ask for, because, and I hope so, because, I think the way we've got it structured now, Daniel actually figured it up the other day. We need to structure it where the state championship means something. But we need to make it where we have a good volume of anglers. And we know, and this actually was something that she and I discussed, and then something I was putting together on the Hobie College side and everything was these cities really like 100. That number is 100 anglers. But the other challenge though that's kind of recently came up is like with Del Hollow. We didn't get any support up there, and that's fine. We're still going to fish there because that's what we all want to fish. But when a kayak event is a lake wide launch, you don't have to stay in that city that you're getting the chamber support from. So and they know that now. So so I mean, in Pickwick, that's a pretty long body of water, and there's a lot of places to stay. So state championship is probably something that she's going to do. And he and I have been kicking it around, and y'all can tell us. I mean, you fish cast. We're basically the same anglers fishing this series too. But the key in my mind, I'm sitting here and this is, I don't mean to go long on it, but it's something that just literally popped into my head that I think you guys can help us kind of figure out. If we have an event on Pickwick, a real live event, we can hype and market that, and you're going to get people, like Jody Queen and Matt Ball and all them. They're going to travel to fish Pickwick because it's killer.
Definitely.
The WTBY club, that's 40 something anglers that are probably going to fish it with us. And then you've got KBFTN and then some TVKA people all sprinkled in, the Middle Tennessee guys. That event could push 130 people probably. If we have a state championship where 125 qualify, are people going to drive to West Tennessee at the end of August,
Right.
And that I would want them to for a 2-day tournament. That's why we chose to do back-to-back lake on a state championship, was so that you had some familiarity. So if we go to Pickwick, then it's probably going to be a 2 or 3 year commitment on that state championship. But I kind of feel like if we slide in there on year one, because year one Bass Nation, I think we had 29 show up, but that was when it flooded super, super bad. Remember the Bassmaster event? We fished the same weekend, and it was awful. So, I mean, there was a lot of water that kayaks couldn't get into. And I think, being conservative, I think I had about 25 people message me and back out who wanted to fish. So we should have had 55 or 60 in that event. And that's just people that communicated. We may have had 70, 75 because it was the last one to qualify. It was in March. The weather was good and everything. I think it was March or May. So if we have the state championship event and we only show up with 65 or 70 because of the travel time, does she let us back? And that's, I know, right. Daniel, he'll attest to it. I ask myself too many questions all the time instead of just doing it. So what are your thoughts? I mean, do you have an event? And then in Georgia, something we did, and I don't know that it was a good idea, but I figured in Georgia, since it was year one, we would try it. We did a 2-day event on Lanier, and Gunnersville was going to be a 2-day event in Tennessee, in the Tennessee series, but some people talked me out of it, and I think that might have been the right move. So do you have, 4 events that are a 1-day, and then for Pickwick to be a big event so that we can get the national travel guys, we have a 2-day event there, or you make them all 1-day events since the points count the same for every event?
Yeah, that's a challenging piece right there. I mean, when you bring up the points, that could bring up some controversy, I guess. I mean, when it boils down to it, I mean, a lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of the anglers that fish these events, they've dipped their toes in 2-day events. And a lot of them, I would imagine, would be okay with that. Probably if the timing is right. It seems like you get more participation earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And it starts to dwindle, the longer, the further you progress into the year, especially when the summer hits, everybody's vacation, time is dwindling down at that point, or just going on other vacations, just kind of getting burnt out. Fishing's not as good, whatever the case may be. But, I mean, David, you can chime in, man. But, for me, I mean, I'm always down for a 2-day event, especially because, I mean, for us, it's 2 hours. I mean, doing a 1-day event is not that big of a deal. But if I was to, I wanted to go and fish Douglas, but that's a commitment. That's a lot of travel time. And if it was a 2-day event, then I would probably have been a little bit more apt to jump on that.
And
Go
Justin
ahead.
knows my thoughts on 1 day versus 2 day events. I fish Hobies because they're 2 day events. I mean, that's my deal. I mean, to me, it makes more sense. If I'm going to have to travel 4 or 5 hours to go somewhere, I want to go spend a few days. I want to go make
Yeah.
it really worth my time to travel. I want to go. I want to make it worth going to go see this new lake or go see whatever it may be. I mean, I fished a couple of the Bassmaster national events, and I'll fish the Bassmaster Pickwick event coming up in October. But because it's close, but I like a 2 day event. That's just my deal. I don't mind. I'm going to Wisconsin next week. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
mind driving 10 hours to go fish a 2 day event. I didn't mind driving 6 hours to go to Rayburn last year, which was a fun tournament. I like those kind of events. That's the kind of stuff that I like to do. I mean, I came to fish Center Hill, or not Center. Well, I fished Center Hill this year with you guys.
Yeah.
I fished Kentucky Lake for literally 3 hours for the Kentucky Lake event because I had to be back at my shop to be here at noon to work.
I remember that.
Oh, you messaged me on that. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, it was like, should I go or should I? I'm gonna go for 3 hours just to see if I get lucky. I land on some of my good fish. I land on. If I don't, I don't. I am that stupid. I will do that kind of crazy stuff. But
You tend to do that more for Kentucky Lake, though.
I tend to do it more for Kentucky Lake. It is kind of home.
That's where I met you guys, was Kentucky Lake. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I came to the Del. I love the Del Hollow event last year. We do that in December again. I will be there again.
Oh
this
man, make that a 2 day event for sure.
year.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: do you make the entire series a 2 day event, or you do like Daniel mentioned earlier? We've got a $100 bill range tournament, and make it a 1 day event so that we fill that void in between a $40 cast tournament and a $250 Hobie and bass. I mean, I don't think we got enough 2 day anglers in the States to support a series yet. Do you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we're there yet. I think that this series has the potential. I think that this series could be. I'm not going to, say Hobie, but I think that after a few years, especially, and you know how it is. I mean, back what was it, David? The event that everybody just when Hobie started selling out, it was the news just
Seminole,
started getting around.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Toledo Bend.
It was this year. Yeah, it was Toledo Bend.
Okay, yeah, that's the first one that sold out. Yeah, I was talking about the first big one. It was Seminole year one. Remember?
Oh,
yeah.
When you kept me awake snoring all weekend.
Well, let's reverse that one around.
Yeah, struggling
if I start snoring, just hit me with a pillow.
Yeah, wake up, Justin standing over my bed, just struggling with what to do. Smother me or wake me up.
I had the better end of that deal. I had this little shed that was air conditioned by myself.
Oh yeah.
That was a smart one there.
It wasn't a good thing that we had both of our pistols out on the nightstand either. He's like, hope you don't mind. I got my 9 with you. I'm like, I got mine too, bro.
Yeah. I knew you were going to be tempted to smother me, so I had to protect myself. Oh, that's awesome. Then you got Jordan Marshall sliding in there, sick as all Hades, and that was something else. Golly.
But whatever it was that got the hype going this year with the Hobie series, man, it's just something like that needs to click, and I mean, you got the participation here, and but I think Steve, I think you're on the money. We're not there yet. I don't think it's there yet.
Right.
But I think sometime down the road, maybe you could have, 50-50, half the events 2 day, the other half 1 day.
Yeah. But to answer like what you said, Daniel and I discussed it, and if I forget any of them, chime in, Daniel. But we had talked about, this is just tabletopped, obviously. We would like the first or second weekend of December to be Del Hollow. Probably roll around because I am doing the Gunnersville Rattle Trap tournament again. Waiting on the Hobie and Bassmaster schedule, which we're waiting on the Hobie and Bassmaster schedule to come out, because we may change that Rattle Trap tournament. And dude, that was something that was a lot of fun. We got to work with, it's a boy ducket tournament and everything. And they were just awesome people. And, the Bill Lewis people are great, which, they got bought out by GSM Outdoors, and the Yamamoto and all that got bought too. But they've all kept kind of the same top level mover and shaker people, and they're all still as committed to everything. So we're doing the Bill Lewis tournament again. So I want to deconflict with it and the Hobie as well, and give us enough time to recuperate on the travel anglers, because the Bill Lewis tournament will be 100% payout again too. So December Del Hollow, probably try to slide in a February if we can, but we won't really force that one. So February, March, we were looking at probably hit a Gunnersville then, or right after the Rattle Trap tournament. Kind of use it as a pre-fishing deal for some people if they want to. So that'll put us in March, which is a pretty good time. And then I'll quit trying to keep up with the months. So we talked about Del Hollow, Gunnersville again, Pickwick / Chick, because the state championship will probably be moving from here. And then so that we can help maximize the people in East Tennessee, we've been kind of kicking around an idea on how to include the South Holston, which all those people really, really love to fish up there. The South Holston River, the Holston River, and Douglas. So it may be, wasn't that right, Daniel? Douglas
Cherokee.
and
Cherokee. We're talking about doing Cherokee because we did Cherokee the first season, and I think we're talking about doing Cherokee and some skinny water. So Holston would, probably all the way down where the French Broad is. We'll talk to some of those river anglers up there, but I think that might have a good little draw. We have decent. Steve-O had decent participation for the Cherokee. It was cold.
Yeah, and it was awful weather, but it was fun, dude. Yeah, me and Brandon Strock launched together because he was decently familiar with some of it. We mapped out the area, and we found a wad of fish and just absolute chocolate milk. And the ones I caught were all striped. I lost 2 bass in the jumps, and then I caught like a 40-something pound stripe on a jerkbait on 10-pound fluorocarbon. Yeah. To put those waters in there, and Pickwick, if we do that, I kind of really just convinced myself to do that as a trail series event if Daniel's okay with it. Because if we do that early enough in the year, like you said, people are going to be able to maximize on their time off and everything. And Adam Reiser was who I always kind of talked to about Pickwick, because he grew up on it, and he's a pretty smart dude. So that would give us Del Hollow, Gunnersville, Pickwick, that Cherokee, Holston, and then we've kind of been kicking around the Kentucky Lake, Center Hill kind of deal, because we still need to put one more in that area for how far are you guys from Center Hill?
4 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not too bad if you wanted to, because again, we're going to try to improve on, Josh Stewart won the Angler of the Year in Tennessee, and Joseph Gayton won it in Georgia. So they each got $1,000 cash from Carl Black Chevrolet. So we want to look to improve on that too. So
right,
we'd like to come up with about $1,500 cash, and then just some big ticket items from some of the sponsors to throw on that and get that up around $3,000. So, I mean, that's going to be some incentive for you to come and fish, let's just say Douglas, like you mentioned. It's kind of a big deal, kind of a drive. You've already qualified. That's something we Daniel and I, when you asked him what we can improve on, that's something we would really like to figure out how to do, is how to get the angler to come and fish when they've already qualified. Because Georgia, they had 2 back-to-back open championships, and then we took it over. And this year in that series, I think we had Eufaula was 43, Clarksville was 35, Lanier was 50, and Hartwell was 88. But Hartwell was like a joint event with South Carolina. And then the Benny's Queen City boys, they all came and fished too. So, but that was a 2 tournaments. Lanier was a 2-day tournament, 50 anglers, 504 fish. And Hartwell was a 1-day tournament with 498 fish.
Yeah, that was the one I judged along with the Tennessee Bass, was Hartwell. Ooh.
Yeah. So but that's something. So that's kind of the lakes there, because we could get Center Hill and Kentucky Lake in there. That's a good population of our Tennessee anglers that fish those lakes. So that'll keep us up around the 60-ish average, I think. But Pickwick, we really like to hype up because it's, it seems like it's still ascending. It's been like, what, 3 years of really good fishing, and it's still putting
It's
out big
still there,
bags.
man. Yeah.
I want me some money.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm wondering if, BASS and MLF, if they're going to, because, they'll usually visit, a body of water sometimes 2 years in a row, and then they'll kind of, die off of it for a little while. And it was a long time before, since they had visited Pickwick. So it was kind of due for both, those trails. So maybe next year won't be as heavy with the tournaments and stuff like that, out there. And you guys know how it is. When the elites are visiting a lake, then everybody else follows, and then they just kind of, we follow the elites, we follow the pros around where they're going. That's where the hype is, and that's where the money's coming from and being spent, stuff like that. So. But I want to throw this question at you guys. How many of the tournaments did we have this year that had a local club, running an event in conjunction with, the Bass Nations?
So
all of them
Center
except
Hill,
for all of them but
yeah.
Del Hollow, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 4.
Yeah, actually, yep. Every one of them but Del Hollow. Yeah, we did Gunnersville with
TVKA and NACA actually.
Yeah, and that's right. And WTBY, in Kentucky Lake, same event. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
had the doggone it. All I can remember are acronyms anymore, and I used to could struggle with acronyms, but Douglas was like the East Tennessee Kayak Club, Tin Cat, and Tri Cities, and then Center Hill was Garrett Johnson and them's clubs. Is that Central or Clarksville?
Yeah,
Danny?
it's CAKFG.
Yeah, Central.
Clarksville.
Clarksville area.
No.
Clarksville.
Clarksville area kayak.
Man, I get mixed up on them too.
Yeah. Nothing's as bad as McClenny's and Bogle's. I can't keep up with that one to save my life.
SMTKA, yeah.
Those guys over
TNKA. and then you type it in, and it's South, Middle, TN, or Southern Mid, TN.
Middle. Yeah, Southern Mid, 10. Yeah.
They threw 2 abbreviation words in the middle of it, and so we got to get them to rebrand that.
I'll go ahead and tell you, like 3 of the award ceremonies, I was sitting there scrambling, looking at my phone, like, because we deal with it on the cast side, it's so much. That's all I know is the abbreviations. That's what I go by. And I know what area they're out of and everything, but I always forget. I sit there, I take notes and go, the hell club we fishing with it, and I know all these guys like personally. We meet every year, and it's funny. But Del Hollow was the only one we didn't match up with, and we like there was a ton of participation like from all these cast clubs, like some of them really really heavily, and I saw the same guys constantly. They love to fish it. It was a lot of them made it a road dog thing. A lot of people burned some PTO to fish these. That's what always killed me. They've been up there a full week like it was a Hobie.
I know, awesome. Yeah. Man, I'm up there driving to Center Hill the morning of.
Yeah. That's like we get who was it, Daniel, that used to work night shift and would drive everywhere. It's been a while. It was like when I don't know, Daniel might not have been fishing with us then. I can't remember. I did it a few times when we first got into kayak fishing. I was still at that one chemical plant I was a reactor operator at, and we worked 12-hour shifts. So I would get with what was his name that ran CBY and them, when they were a club, Corey and them, and I'd show up, I'd get the meeting over the phone, and I'd miss an hour of fishing. Did that once or twice, and then when Lambert and Seth and them started TVKA that first year before we took over directing, I had 2 events. I'd get off work, fish all day, one eye, get back home, sleep about 5 hours, and go back to work. And that's when you had the passion.
Yeah, I know.
Do it now.
I had to look it up. It was Central Tennessee Kayak Anglers, Garrett Johnson.
Yeah, CTKA. Yeah.
Now there's so many options. It's like, I'll just do the Hobies this year and just spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. Something you just made me think. I'm glad you mentioned it on like when we're looking at booking lakes and stuff. If there's an MLF or an elite series, if you can have an event on there close to them, either before or probably after, I'd say, where everybody gets to pre-fish watching the TV, you know, you would probably get, because you get people hyped up. Well, I know exactly where, A, B, and C was fishing and whatnot. And then something Lambert and I were discussing, because I recently had a phone call with the Bassmaster people and just talking about engagement and stuff like that. And Ryan came up with a very good idea. So let's just say the elites are fishing Kentucky Lake. Well, let's have a kayak event the same day on, let's just like Chickamauga. And that way they can send, one boat like they do, a camera boat, and just have that guy do some streaming stuff and email it to them in a Dropbox. And during that Kentucky Lake Live event, they can drop some snippets of what we're doing. And that's going to advertise that event. So I thought it was a pretty good idea you come up with there. So I made sure I shared that, and that was they liked that. So
that's good. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be any extra work or have to, pay anybody extra for that time.
Right, and that leads us to, there is, a Bassmaster series again next year. I discussed with them, hurry up and get the Classic Championship waters announced. Because if you do that, then people, let's just, for hypothetical purposes, they say, well, because we're having it here this weekend, we're going to have the Classic Championship's going to be on Lake Chickamauga next March, whatever it is. Well, then people are going to be excited. Now they know where they're fishing. So then you flood to Pickwick to try to get one of those last qualifying spots.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But there's a new guy.
Grumpy, Keith Martin corrected us. CTKA actually did Del Hollow with us.
Yeah, I saw that, and that sparked my memory too. We sure did.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Keith. I do things like that for Keith to catch so that he feels like he has a purpose in his life.
Yeah.
So now he comes around and he wipes my butt and my nose for me. So he's Keith Martin's freaking awesome, man. I don't even remember how we even met that dude, but he's a grouch from North Georgia. Yeah, he's a grouch from North Georgia, man, and he just fell right in as one of the dudes, man. He's so fun. Yeah. He's one of the all-timers at cutting you, but he can take it. That's what makes it so good, is when you finally do get him, he can handle it. So yeah.
That's what we're pretty good at. Yeah, as anglers, you develop a really good ability to bitch about shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we've talked about before, like birds of a feather. Kind of, that's just what it is. We all like to bitch and gripe, so that's why we're all friends. So and then we just decided to fish. So yeah,
that's how we calm down.
That's right. So, but yeah. So there'll be a season next year. And obviously, Hobie's underway, and I get to direct the Hobie College Bass Open Series. So any of you listening, if you've got some people in your area at a college that has a fishing team, by all means, please give them my information, and I'll introduce them, to what they need to do to get some kayaks. So, I mean, if you've got them in your area, they're obviously going to give you guys patronage at SY. And David, you took good care of a good friend of mine here in Chattanooga, Logan Pritchett. Appreciate you taking care of him. Yeah. I know the process. It's always a process, isn't it?
The trouble we have is me getting close enough to him or him getting close enough to me to finish out a few things. So we're going to
Yeah, it will. He's a good dude. No, I appreciate that. And I told him, obviously, you are as well. But back to the college thing, that'll just help every shop in every area. And as we told these other colleges, you don't have to have what we all have to get started. And this year we've had Campbellsville, Kentucky field a team, Carson Newman, Manuel College in Georgia. Been talking with Auburn University. They're going to have a team on Gunnersville with us, which is our next tournament. It's September the 9th. And that's the last qualifying tournament for the Hobie Championship, which will be in November on Lake Hartwell. And it's a 2-day event. So every angler that fishes in a college series, with this being year one, qualifies for the championship. And what's cool about it is, there's cash prize, and some schools the cash goes to the school for the team. Some schools actually pay the anglers, but each angler gets an AFTCO gift card. I think it's like $150 and then $25 for first, second, and third. The winning team gets $1,000 AFTCO card, I believe, and in the championship, the winning team is going to get an Outback to go to the college.
Wow.
So that another angler. You were talking about the Susquehanna. That was Nolan Miner who won it, and his brother Ewing Miner was second place. He's on the Carson Newman team, and so he actually fished out of the Carson Newman kayak. But so we got around. We hadn't had a ton of participation in it, and that's hard to do because everything we do, we want to blow it out of water.
Yeah.
But also with this being a brand new series, these being brand new kayak anglers, because literally other than Jackson Orr and Ewing, all these other ones are brand new to kayak fishing. And that's pretty awesome. They're already getting fully decked rigs and doing everything they can. They're calling us with DIY stuff. Didn't want to try to just blow it out of the water, because then these anglers are learning how to do what we do. There's going to be corrections and penalties and stuff. And just so far,
right.
I think in the two tournaments we've had, I don't think we've had any fish DQs. They've gotten very few crack mouths. They know what they're doing, and they're freaking pumped too, because they know how to fish. And what they're seeing is like what Nolan said. When you're in a kayak, you don't have that 3 miles up the river temptation very often. So they're already translating it to when they get back in their boats. And it's making them better at that. They're telling us. So we'll be interested in getting that planned out for next year and getting that schedule off the ground and grow that series. So,
yeah. Well, Jesse England's got a great question. This is one that I kind of wanted to start off with. With talking about the championship, is how many will qualify for the Bassmaster National Championship through this state championship at Chick?
10%. So if we've got 100 anglers, 10.
Wow. Okay.
We got 127 that actually qualified, like through cast clubs, 60 through the Tennessee Bass Nation events. We took the top 15 from the Cast State Championship, and we're bringing back the returning champion, the Hammer, Chris Walters. And I'm really hoping for. I'm shooting high, 115. That's what I want. I'm going to start messaging, texting, and trying to get everybody to go. Everybody's getting blown up by me right now on the cast side as far as Angler of the Year anglers to get them to show up and fish. But top 10%, and it, especially like I guess last year's national championship kind of hopped us up. We had 2 anglers actually walk across and cashed a check. But Chris Walters got up there and cashed a big check, and that's near and dear. He's in our local club, but to see somebody go from the the grassroots Bass Nation stuff and make it onto the championship stage, he won last year, so that was just freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So the state championship this year, is it going to be all entry fee payout, or do you guys have sponsor money that you're throwing in to sweeten the pot a little bit?
It's just 100% of the entry fee.
Okay, so, and that's still it's just $100 like the other events,
right?
Okay,
yeah.
So talk about so it's coming up in 2 weeks. Is format going to pretty much follow a lot like the Hobie series and stuff like that? Is there going to be a cutoff time for practice? If you guys want, talk a little bit about, just kind of the schedule for that, and the venue where people are going to be checking in and all that kind of good stuff.
You got it pulled up, Daniel, or I've got it pulled up.
I'll let you. I mean, you can talk about the venue. I don't if you got that settled or not.
Yeah,
that's right.
You go ahead, man.
We're just looking at that.
You're the guy.
All right. Yeah. So it's well, how do I? Let me hear. Oh, it's on Tourney X. You have to hit edit tournament to pull up your page to read it. So it'll be for those of you that fished it last year. It's identical. It's 5 fish each day. So best 10 total. You can only count 5 per day. It's $100 entry fee, like you mentioned. The location will be the same place as last year, Rustic
Good.
Farms venue. So when you get into Dayton, you find the Zaxby's and hook a right and drive. And before you get to the 60 bridge, you'll see the signs to come on in. The itinerary for it, Friday, August the 26th, we're having an optional meetup at that venue. Last year, we just got together and had some beer and just, shoot the bull. And then we do the virtual captains meeting at 7 o'clock. So at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you'll have to be off the water. That ends your pre-fishing. So, if it's 5:50, you need to make sure you're at the ramp. If it's 6:01, 6:02, you should have been off the water already. Somebody reports you, then we got to take action on that. So again, like I said, 7 p.m. is the virtual captains meeting, and then we release the identifier at 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, you're allowed to launch 1 hour before lines in, so you can launch at 5 a.m. And that's going to be still dusky dark, so you're going to need your lights. And then lines in is at 6 a.m. Here right now, so I think you add 1 minute per day. So right now, I think about 6:12 should be, so by the tournament event, should be about 6:20 is safe light for boat blast off. So you're going to be able to get in the water, get to your area, get settled, make sure you got your identifier, your pin, your board, and all that kind of stuff ready. And then you can start fishing at 6 a.m. So you're going to have plenty of time to hopefully beat the boat traffic, which is what we've always done in our TVKA stuff, is allow you to be able to do that. And then you're going to be able to get the real deal topwater bite. You'll get the full extent of it because you're just going to have low visibility. And then you're going to have, that early morning good bite. And then you're going to get to fish until 2:30 p.m. You've got half an hour after that to upload your fish. And we do like a soft check-in on day one. Just like last year, we're going to have food there and everything. And don't know if we'll have music, but the venue's pretty good size. We had a good time last year just hanging out. I mean, I think we ended up staying like 3 hours after everybody checked in. And so just be there, get your name off the list, and then we'll continue with the day. And then Sunday, the times are all the exact same. Check-ins a little bit earlier, and then we'll go on and get into the awards. And then we do the prizes at the end of the day on Sunday. And then in this one, again, like Daniel said, it's pretty loaded. We got a couple of Douglas Matrix rods. Those are $300 a piece. Those are really good rods we brought in at the shop, and they jumped in and gave us a rod for every event this year in Tennessee and Georgia. We've got tons of net bait. We've got Z-Man. We've got Seagar. They've been a good sponsor all year long. I may forget a few, but then we've got the grand prize, just like last year, which, we had 77 fish last year. We had 69 come to the check-in, and y'all know that's a pretty big deal to get that many to come to check in,
I think cashing the check, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we got there, we do all the awards, and the grand prize this year for everyone that shows back up is you'll be in the raffle to win a Newport NK 180 and a pair of Dakota Lithium 60 amp hour batteries to power it. So
there you go. Participation prizes. That's what we're here for.
Also,
right.
So we're doing our last TVKA event on that Saturday. So it's going to be a fantastic way to double dip. So we're the last club that gets to participate with the Tennessee Bass Nation. So, that works out pretty well. But it'll be, it's our closeout of the season, and it's going to be fun, dude. I have to fish Saturday with TVK. I'm not fishing Tennessee Bass Nation. I got to judge for Saturday, but then Sunday I'll be judging fish again and, prepping up everything to get everybody for check-in. But
good deal. So on Saturday, that soft check-in, that's it's not you don't have to be there at a certain time. It's just get there when you can, but you do have to check in.
Correct. Yeah, we'd like you to get there, but we're not going to ding you for it. Yeah. But I mean, no
reasons for it, Steve-O. You tell them.
Yeah, you need to be there. Like you just said, you have to check in to get your name off the list. But if you're not there at 4:30, if you're there at 4:36, then you're okay. But just come and get your name off the list for safety purposes. And that's just, in my opinion, the way tournaments are. If everybody gets off the water and has to be somewhere to check in, then you don't get to not go, because then that just gives you more time on the water,
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's people that in their mind, I got to make my check-in. So they cut their fishing off and leave. And if you blow check-in off, then you get to continue fishing. And that's just something that's always really kind of pissed me off. So I don't sorry, I didn't mean to, I don't, yeah.
Well, we're used to that at, I'm sure, I know you guys are too. When WTVY, it's, you better be in line or you're DQ.
Skelton got that tight crew running. We know.
Yeah, man. He's got us whipped over here, man.
Man, it sucks. He said he's not going to be able to make it. He's injured again.
Yeah.
He's got something else going wrong with him.
Yeah, he's had to miss a few
He has
events.
some church business. What he said is what's going to be. But,
Figure I make fun of somebody and he's doing something good.
Well, no, he said they're calling him a preacher, and I don't know what that means. What is he calling him? Yeah, I got to text him back and ask him that. Maybe he'll watch this and explain it to me. You dumb it down in small terms. What calling a preacher mean? But the other cool thing about Saturday is going to be Tremont Tavern. I think Steve-O's got our food sponsor or food vendor locked in. It's arguably some of the best burgers in Southeast Tennessee.
Oh, hey, Daniel, I'll dumb it down a little better than that text. We're not getting Tremont food, but he paid for the food I'm going to get.
Oh, man, you just broke my heart. I can't read good.
Well, I took my son there for his birthday today, so I got Tremont today. So there you go.
Ooh.
We'll get back on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but no,
we didn't.
Be a fun time, man.
We didn't plan to have back-to-back TVKA events with Tennessee Bass. We just run out of schedule, man.
Yeah. How many events do y'all or tournaments do y'all have in TVKA? Is it the same?
8.
It's not the same across the board in cast, is it?
No, it's not. It's a minimum of 7, isn't it, Daniel? Or do we go to 8?
No,
I think it's 8.
It's a minimum of. Well, I don't think we didn't do an event minimum. It's whatever the minimum is for cast qualifying. So if you do,
so you gotta have it. You gotta have at least 7 or
5,
7, 8, 5 events.
Yeah,
that's right.
5. Yeah, we used to have a 7 limit a long time ago, and we may have just said as long as you got 5 to have a state team kind of thing. I think, because there were a few clubs that attendance was like really low, and it was going to be hard for them to keep their average up. So I think we kind of helped that out a little bit.
Yeah.
They
participation rule, but 5's the minimum. Directors have to fish 3, and
because we always did 10, and I enjoyed it because it's fun to us, and then we discussed going to 8 because it was AJ, because he said their Kentucky club when they shrunk their schedule just by 2 events, their attendance went up, and then like what you said earlier, you don't get those mulligans like, I can just fish this another day. It made those points that much more important. So it's a good thing we did go to 8. So because we did see attendance increase the last 2 years because of it, I think. So
I think we ran 11, 12, something like that in the past couple of years.
I don't ever get fishing, but we run a bunch.
I want to get back out there, man, and get on Beach and Brown again, man. That's where I fished, and man,
I need to come out to Bay Springs too.
Bay Springs.
That's what. If y'all do a Pickwick event, add Bay Springs to it, because every boat tournament that goes to Pickwick, Bay Springs is in play, dude. It's connected by the Tom Bigby. And I felt like an idiot when the Bassmaster came here last year. I was texting Dwayne. I was like, "Is Bay Springs in play?" He's like, "How are you going to get there?" I was like, "Well, it's got ramps." And he wasn't understanding me. He thought that I was going to pedal from the back of Yellow Creek all the way down to Bay Springs to the Tom Bigby. I'm like, "No, dude, it's got its own ramps, man." And then the next day they changed the ruling and said Bay Springs is not in play.
It was or was not?
It was not in play.
Is it connected to the body of water?
It is via the waterway, but it's a 30-mile waterway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
John Cox, that's where he did really good at, at the Bassmaster event this year. Or was that the Toyota Series?
Toyota Series.
Yeah.
Or the Phoenix or whatever.
The Big Five. The Big Five, yeah.
Yeah. That it's probably one of them Michael Neal one again. That dude's been killing it this year.
Yeah.
Man, he's
local Dayton guy. But yeah, that's I I'll look at that, man. I'm down for. I get in trouble with AJ all the time. He's like, you can't have 712-mile radius to fish. But I like water. I do. If you can get to it, I want you to be able to fish it. That's just the way I look at it, man.
It's been this season. If you can float into it and float out of it, we're good with it.
That's
I mean,
right.
you could technically hold a kayak tournament on Bay Springs in
Well,
itself. The
online thing that I do, we actually looked at the Bay Springs, but that tournament's in January every year. And so we didn't. I don't know. Is Bay Springs good there? I mean, you're a jerkbait guy like me. I mean, is it?
No, it's clear. It's big spotted bass lake. I mean, a lot of good largemouth too. But yeah, it's I mean, we've always fished it during the summer. When it's it's got a lot of good grass and stuff like that in it too. It's very diverse. You got stumps. I mean, David could probably talk a lot more about it, but an angler can go out and do what they wanted to do.
Well, David, have you guys fished is it Gibbs Lake or Gibson?
Gibson County?
Yeah.
Yeah, we fish it regularly.
Yeah. It's those is it good?
Yeah, it's a good lake. It's small, yeah. It's like 632 acres. It's not very big. It's
just how many ramps has it got? Like 3 or 4 or something, maybe? Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's comparable to I mean, it's smaller than beach. So you've been to beach. It's smaller than that.
Well, because we've obviously, like you mentioned, you guys hyping it and helping us all. We've gotten calls from some of these different chambers through the Tennessee tourism, and they reached out. Let's see, someplace just built a new resort or some kind of lodging on one of these lakes. It's in my notes in my locker. I've got like 7 notebooks all over my house and my work. I keep notes in, and they're not all they're not all together. And then I'll grab 3 or 4 books and look through them. But anyway, when I've got this phone in my hand with a notepad in it, but the Real Foot reached out, and I just felt people cussing me immediately. So I just, oh gosh. I asked him, I said, "Are you meaning a crappie?" No, we want you. I said, all right, I'll get back with you if there's an interest. But but I think
I was really surprised when the KFL went there last year. I mean, I was blown away. They had their championship there or something.
Yeah. But, there's a lot. That's a pretty cool little deal. I hope they keep at it and tweak it, and work the bugs out, because all the anglers we know that fish it, man, they're enjoying it.
Oh, you talking about the KFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming along, man. But that's with everything in the sport right now. I mean, everything, and people are just hungry for anything and everything, in kayak fishing. So, we need more options, for people. I don't think that we're at a point where, so many options is going to have, sold out events, but, you've got people that just, it appeals to a different demographic than some different, than other anglers, and a lot of that kind of boils down to the travel time and stuff like that, and that's the beauty of this trail series is, it's all right here in the state, from one side or the other. It's about a 6-7 hour drive. It's not terrible, but most of the events are kind of within that 5 to 6 hour window.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting. I joined up with one team, and for the purpose of, they wanted me just in case they came down to check. I'm like,
dang.
I'm like, well.
Yeah.
I mean, I told the guys, I was like, man, I only know, man. I mean, I can't be of use to you. I mean, they're up north, so they're like, man, we don't know anything about the Tennessee River. So if we make it down there, we need a guy.
That's awesome.
So they talked me into it, but it'll be fun.
Man can absolutely pick apart this one area with that drop shot. Just
I'm really good at that one spot, boys.
That one spot. Yeah.
You know what I thought was awesome? And I won't give up a lot, but talking with you and Adam at the awards, the fact that I don't know how, obviously, I mean, we've known each other a pretty good while. You catch fish, you're a freaking good fisherman, and so is Adam Reiser. And the entire lake, both of you were literally he could see you. And he asked, he said, "Who's in a blue wrapped?" And it wasn't hitting me. I thought it, because Ethan Jett's got a blue one, I think, but I don't think it was wrapped. And it couldn't hit me. And then he said, it's got a black wrap on it. And I was like, well, Lambert's in a one out. I said, dude, that's Justin. And then, yeah, he was like, I was wondering who that was, because at one time, either maybe you moved a little bit to just maybe look or something, but he saw you, and so yeah, but just
I was wondering who he was, like, because okay, like 5 years ago, if you saw a guy in a Hobie, you're like, that's Steve, because
you knew who,
but now it's like everybody's got a PA. So I saw a riser come up in front of me, and he had his white sun mask over his face. And he kept doing this number, looking back at me and stuff. I'm like, man, who's this guy eyeballing me?
Yeah, his navigation sensors kept going off. Yeah, beep beep.
Yeah, I was just waiting for him to come over. Like, man, I was trying to fish this spot or something, but
no, he didn't pre-fish up bite, but like just after what you did, what you caught, and when he pre-fished, we were in communication. And when he pre-fished, he caught some monsters in that area. But Adam, he knows how to pre-fish an area and not damage it. Right. He was excited, and he still caught some pretty good fish. But his day two obviously dwindled. But because we've fished that area quite a bit in the past, and fish that time of year typically aren't concentrated that much together like you guys found them. So it's a pretty awesome find there. And knowing what we know and the people we know, I listened for 2 or 3 weeks after that, people that fish up there all the time, and I talked to them, and even the tournaments, no boats went up there and really hit that stuff.
And that's what was surprising to me, was when I was there, nobody was coming up on me. There was one dude that you could tell he fishes once a year, because he was just casting right in front of me and never, he just looked at me like, "What's up, man?" I'm like,
yeah, just having a good time, wanting to get to know you.
Yeah, him and his son, they're just out. I mean, I ain't gonna make a fuss about that, because he was not fishing the way I was fishing. But yeah, it was weird, because I was expecting. But see, I had scoured the entirety or most of the other juicy stuff on the lake, and I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, it wasn't until I got down that end where I was like, okay, this could happen offshore. I was one decision away from picking up a square bill on top water and and hitting the bank.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how things can happen, man. It definitely seemed like they were coming to me, though. Just the way they were positioned, the way it was reloading. It was one of those deals for sure.
Well, let me ask you this.
I joked with you about having I said, you need to interview yourself after that one. So I'm going to take it. I mean, how did it feel just flat out to break 200 inches?
Dude.
I mean, dude, I got to ask somebody. I don't know many people that have done that. That's freaking huge. How did that
I haven't had very many days like that on the water myself. I mean, they're far and few. You guys know. I mean, even the best of anglers, But I mean, I think for me, what was pretty cool, it was actually getting that 1/4 inch at the very end.
I'm gonna hit it and get past it. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not a dude to catch a lemon and go to the truck. I can't do that. I mean, there's so many things going through my. I'm like, man, I've done dropped $7,700 coming down here. I'm getting my time's worth, But it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, we've all been doing this for a long time, and to get that opportunity is, you don't know if you're ever going to get it. So, when it comes along and you can capitalize on it, man, it means, that means the world to me. So, I didn't even get time to enjoy it, honestly, man. I came home, and the very next day, there's a couple of postings up on my job board that I've been really looking forward to. And dude, since then, my mind has been on that. Like, I haven't even had time to even stop and really think about it, except for the couple of interviews I've done. So it happened, and it was like it was done, but so we'll see. This tournament, I don't think that bite's going to be playing the same, but we'll see.
It can. Are you going to be able to come down and poke around any?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be down there for a couple of days before.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw. We've got the Blue Water Resort Marina there in Dayton's got a special on rooms. Rent one night, get the second. half price. So essentially, if you're there 3 days, you get a full day for free. Those cabins are freaking awesome. They're big, they're spacious. And then there's a new place in Dayton, PB Lodge. They've got an extended 5% off a stay, and that's the ones that have right there by Dayton Boat Dock.
Garages.
It's got the drive
Those are
unders.
cool.
Yeah, those are pretty slick. Yeah, they're good people, and so yeah, we got that lodging there. So
well, it's going to be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to it. We got a house of guys from the West already booked and stuff.
Oh, heck
ready to
yeah.
go. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. Man, I just want to say again, we're breaking that hour. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and talk with us tonight. And I know everybody that's here in the comments that's fished the event, that they're more than appreciative, of what you guys do, and Steve, Daniel, not only just in Tennessee, but what you guys do for kayak fishing nationwide, man. It seems like you guys, AJ, and a few others, y'all make things move, man, in a way that has just really pushed this sport, in a direction that a lot of us didn't really see it. So hats off to you guys, man. But
we appreciate all that. Appreciate all you guys.
We appreciate you having us on. Let's get the information out and everything. It's gonna be
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
time. I'm looking forward to that award ceremony. It's gonna be good.
Hey, moving forward, man, next year we'll make Lines In the official podcast of the Tennessee Bass Nation.
Here we go.
Good with that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're going to cut off here. We appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. A lot of comments in here. Couldn't get to every single one of them. Hope we answered any questions that you all may have had. And for all you fishing this championship, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And with that, we're going to sign off.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, David. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.